Okay. Division of polynomials is what we're doing today. So we're going to go over dividing polynomials. Now, we're going to talk about here. This is dividing polynomials by a monomial. Monomial means that you're dividing by one term, which means that you're not adding or subtracting anything to it. Does that make sense? So if you look right here, this says we have 10x cubed minus 25x squared plus 15x divided by 5x. Okay. When you're dividing a monomial, you're going to write it as a fraction. So step one is to write it as a fraction. Do we see that? Yeah. After you write it as a fraction, then you're going to divide each term by the monomial. So I'm going to divide this term by 5x, this term by 5x, this term by 5x, and then you simplify. Okay. Things you need to remember when you're doing this is with fractions, with variables. If you have x to the b divided by x to the a, that means you're subtracting the powers. Do we remember that? Yeah. Okay. So remember, when you're dividing powers, that means you're subtracting them after. So when you're dividing numbers of exponents, you're subtracting their power. All right. So we have the example written. How do we feel about it? Is it doable? Yeah. Oh, anyone's like, I can never do that. Come on. All right. Is that giraffe in place of Naomi? Aww. All right, so since you said you can do it, here's one for you to do. So you have x to the 4x to the fourth plus 8x squared minus 5x divided by 4x squared. So I'm going to give you a moment to try it. All right. So step one says write it as a fraction. And then we're going to divide. How do we do so far? Okay, so then we're going to simplify. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 minus 2 is? Okay, that's the first one. 8 divided by 4 is? 2 minus 2 is? Then we're going to keep going. Minus 5 divided by 4 is? Or just 5/4. Fractions are our friends. And then 1 minus 2 is going to leave us with x to the -1. So you either can write it like that, or write it as x squared plus 2 minus 5 over 4x. Both of these are acceptable. Okay? Unless it says positive exponents only, then if it says positive exponents only, then I would write it like this because all of the exponents are positive. Good? I don't know, just read the little blue part. It depends on the problem. All right, so we're good with monomials. Yeah? All right, now we're gonna go on to non-monomials. So dividing polynomials by polynomials. And how do we divide? So it says, the best way to remember is, does McDonald's serve burgers? Why, yes, they do. Okay. So you're going to divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Okay?
Wait. Divide, multiply.
Yep.
Okay.
Were you being funny? Oh, okay. I was like, wait, hold on. All right, here we go. We're going to set this up. So we have 3x cubed minus 3x squared minus 2x minus 4. The first thing you want to make sure is that it's in order. And nothing is missing. Missing, meaning that every term is present. So I have 3, 2, 1, 0. So every term is present. If a term is missing, what do you think we'll put in its place?
A 0?
A 0, because we can add 0 to anything and will it change the function? No, okay? All right, step 2 is we're gonna write it. Do y'all remember the division house? You're gonna write it as a division house. So where you have the division? My elementary teacher called it a house.
Oh,
The division house.
we found it. Division.
Yes,
That's
but I'm saying the setup, she called it the house. She goes, put it in the house. All right. Questions about setting up? Now we're going to follow the steps of divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, right? So when you are dividing, you're asking, what am I dividing? The D, you're dividing your leading coefficients. So you're dividing the leading coefficient. So I'm dividing 3x cubed divided by x. What is 3x cubed divided by x? 3x squared. Do we agree? Okay, so that's going to go on top of the house. So we have 3x squared. I don't know. Oh, no reason. I think I'm just always done with division. I don't put it in the first one. I always put it in the second one. All right, so we divide. Now we're going to multiply. When it says multiply, you're going to multiply your quotient by your divisor. So my divisor is x minus 2. So I'm going to multiply 3x squared times x minus 2. What do I get from that? And minus 6x squared, right?
Yeah.
I didn't write a 3. You saw nothing. Okay? And then we're going to do the subtract. So when you're subtracting, that means you are changing the signs of your product. So when I subtract, instead of a positive 3x cubed, it's going to be a negative 3x cubed. Instead of a negative 6x squared, it's going to be a positive 6x squared. That's what it means to subtract. And now you're going to simplify. What happens here? Cancels out, which was our goal, right? And then we're left with 3x squared. And then your B, you're bringing on down. You bring it down and then repeat. I like to change colors so you can see me repeating. Okay, so I'm gonna do it again until I can't do it anymore. So I'm gonna start again, where my pen is. So starting with D again. So back at D, We're gonna divide the leading coefficient now is 3x squared and x. So we have 3x squared divided by x. What is 3x squared divided by x? 3x. So now my quotient is 3x. I'm gonna add that to the top. And now we're on to the m. We're gonna multiply. Okay, this green is really hard to see. And I can't see where a pin is. Oh my gosh, where is it? Do y'all see it?
I see.
Is it, am I there?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna multiply. So we have 3x, because that was our quotient, times our divisor, which is x minus 2. And what do I get from this? We get 6x squared minus, we get 3x squared, not 6. 3x squared minus 6x. Okay? And now we're going to subtract this. So subtracting this means that I'm doing what to it? Changing the signs. Remember, subtracting means you're changing the signs. So instead of a positive 3x, it's going to be a, oh my gosh, this pen is hidden. It's hidden. It keeps hiding from me.
Oh. Okay,
Okay, and then the b is bring down. So what do I have left to bring down? -4. Ooh, I'm glad I'm done with that color. All right, so now we're gonna do it again because we're not done. So our last d is 4x divided by x. And as you get better, this should be more slowly become your mental work. Does that make sense? But for the sake of notes and us practicing, we're writing it all out. But as you get better, this is going to become your mental. Okay? So we dividing, we have 4x divided by x. What does that give us? 4. So that's my quotient from there. We got 4. After we divide, we're going to multiply our quotient times our divisor. So what is 4 times x minus 2? That gives us 4x minus 8. Then we're going to subtract, and subtracting means I'm doing what to this? Changing its sign. So I have -4x and positive 8. And I'm left with just 4. And I can't do anything with that. So remember how back in the day you would write R4? You don't write R4 anymore. You write plus the remainder out of what was your quotient. Remember the R?
Yeah, are we in the box it?
Yep. Yes. If that's all you're using it for, but I don't know what more complicated multiplication means. Go. Square just means you multiply it times itself.
I know, but
Okay.
that's like people about letters down, numbers and stuff that I have, and I'm probably gonna lose myself.
Okay.
Are you sure?
If I walk over there and you're on a graph page, if I come over there and you're on a graph page, then we're gonna have a problem.
Don't worry.
All right. All right, what are your questions? Any questions about the purple?
Oh,
The green? The blue?
It is easier. It's easier than what it means.
Yeah.
Oh,
The what, the remainder? Okay, Shh, guys. Yeah, so with the remainder, Will, it's just saying that you can't divide this by this evenly. So just like with the fraction, it's what's left over out of that fraction. Make sense? Okay. All right. Yeah. Doable. See what I told you in high school? I felt like so smart doing this.
I feel smart.
You feel smart. I told you were gonna feel smart. I know. I said in high school I did it. Now you're in college, so you know, college. You should have been doing this in high school. We kind of didn't make it though in our class last year in algebra 2, and nor during COVID year. All right, so we're gonna do it again. So we have 4x squared plus 2x plus 1 divided by 2x minus 1. Now, this time I'm gonna do a lot less mental write out. Does that make sense? So all my little writing I had on the side, I'm not gonna do it as much. So I'm just gonna follow the rule. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so first step is to double check that I have all terms there. Do I have all terms? Yes, 2, 1, 0, check. Second thing is to put everything in the house. So we have
Yeah,
my powers.
like 2 and then next to the house.
Mm-hmm. 2x plus 1. Then you have to put in what?
Zero. Oh,
0, because 0 won't change it.
so the
Like if you were missing your 2x, you would put 0x. Mhm. All right, so we're gonna do it. So we're gonna divide. What is 4x squared divided by 2x? 4x squared divided by 2x? 2x, there we go. 2x times 2x minus 1. 2x times 2x is? 2x times negative 1 is? And now subtracting means I'm doing what to that product? So this becomes negative and this is gonna become a? Cancels out and I'm left with 4x. And then we bring down. And then I repeat again. 4x divided by 2x is? 2. 2 times 2x minus 1 is? 4x minus 2. After I multiply, subtract, which means I'm doing what? Subtract, plus, and I'm left with 3. And this is my what? Remainder.
Yeah, I get the front one always going to cancel out.
Yes, that's the goal. The goal is to get rid of the leading term.
Where it goes. And you always put that under the remainder?
Mhm.
Okay.
Do y'all see how I did it with that? Like, how did we feel about mental without me writing my thoughts out on the side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more better with you saying it out loud.
Also, the goal is when you see something the second time, it works better. Okay, we're gonna set this one up together, but we're gonna talk about how, when we look at it, are all the terms present. So we're gonna set it up together and then you're gonna solve it on your own. Got it? All right. So looking at this, we have 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 4. Are there any missing terms? Which term am I missing?
1.
I'm missing my x to the 1, right? Because I'm missing my x to the 1, I'm gonna put in a filler of 0x. Okay, looking at my divisor, which is x squared plus 2, am I missing anything? I'm missing my x. So again, in this one, I'm going to put in 0x. So now I'm going to put everything in the house. So we have x squared plus 0x plus 2 divided into 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 0x plus 4. I am. That's where we stop it. Did adding those 0 terms change my problem? No. All right, I'm going to stop talking and you guys are going to divide.
Oh.
You're going to follow the steps. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. I hope that All right. Step one is to do what?
Divide.
Divide. Leading terms by leading term, right?
Yes.
What is 3x cubed divided by x squared? 3x. After we divide, we what?
Change the determinant.
We multiply. 3x times x squared is 3x. 3x times 0x is 3x times 2 is. After we multiply, we do what? We change the sign, we subtract. So this is canceling out. I'm left with negative 2x squared minus 6x.
You don't add.
And then we bring down.
You don't add this word.
No, that's like your last name. It just comes along when you're adding. All right, now we divide again because this is still equal to the same power, right? So we have negative 2x squared divided by x squared. What do we get? Negative 2. Now we're going to multiply. So we have negative 2x squared minus 0x plus minus 4. Then we're going to change our signs because we're going to subtract.
Right, you know what it is?
Huh?
How is it?
Because you're multiplying by a negative. Subtraction is just multiplication of a negative being added. So you have negative 6x plus 8. And I can't divide anymore, so this is my entire remainder. Does that make sense?
Almost done.
You can't divide anymore. Oh, I just now got your question, Will. I just answered it. No, this is your remainder, the entire thing. Because you can't divide anymore. Yeah, sorry. Your divisor power is greater than your remaining power. So therefore, my answer, remainder minus 6x negative 6x plus 8 over the original divisor, which was x squared plus 2. And that's your convoluted answer. Okay, which part?
By what numbers?
You at the top is always your divisor. So like whatever you divide. So in that D part, the dividing part, I divided 3x cubed by x squared. The result of this is going to be the first thing I put up top. At the D, it tells you what's going in the, because you're dividing ultimately, right? So what you're getting every time you divide is what you're putting at the top. Okay? Other questions for clarification? We all right? All right. Okay, now we're going to learn a shortcut of this, okay? This shortcut only works when you're dividing by a linear. It's called synthetic division, okay? It only works if you're dividing by a linear, okay? Linear means it's in the form of mx plus b, right? So only works if you're dividing by linear. Can you use the synthetic? All right, the synthetic process is you're eliminating your variables. So you're going to write out your coefficients of your dividend. You're going to find the 0, your x-intercept, or your 0 of your divisor. And then it begins the process of multiplying and adding. You're going to bring down to get the engine going. And we multiply diagonally, and then we write the solution. So we bring down 3. And then we're going to multiply diagonal and then write the product. So 2 times 3 is 6. And then we add vertically. 4 plus 6 is 10. And then we repeat again. 2 times 10 is 20. Negative 3 plus 20 is, bring it down. 17 times 2 is 34. 2 plus 34 is 36. The last number is your remainder. So then therefore my quotient would be 3x squared plus 2x plus 17 with a remainder of 36. Okay, it works better when you see it. So here we go. So first thing you want to do is make sure that you have all of your terms. Do I have all my terms? No.
No, you press the 0.
I need to substitute in 0x. Do we see that? Okay. The second thing you want to do is take your divisor and set it equal to 0. So I have x plus 1 equals 0. So what would x have to be? -1, Miss Jones. X would have to be -1 because -1 plus 1 is 0. Okay. Now the third thing you're going to do is set up your synthetic. On the outside is your x. So we have -1. On the inside are your coefficients of your dividend. So we have 2, -4, 0, and -1. And then step 4, we're now going to bring down our 2. And then step 5, we're going to multiply and add. So -1 times 2 is -2. -4 plus -2 is -6. You're right. -1 times -6 is a negative times a negative is a positive. 0 plus 6 is -1 times 6 is, and -1 plus -6 is -7. And then step 6 is to write it as a polynomial. It's always going to be a degree less than what you started with. So if I started off as 2x cubed, I'm now going to end up as 2x squared. So this is 2x squared minus 6x plus 6 minus 7 over x plus 1. And that's your synthetic. It only works with what though?
Linear.
It only works with linear. All right, questions about synthetic?
Can you go back one slide?
Okay. So it's a shortcut to long division when you're dividing by linear. Okay. Otherwise, long division is going to work regardless. But if you're dividing specifically by linear, then you can use synthetic. Does that make sense? Okay. Do we need to see another example of synthetic? We're going to do another one, but we got 35, right? Okay. So we'll stop right here at the remainder theorem then.
Write that down.
If you want to be prepared for tomorrow, yeah.